Derek.
Hey, Trey.
Guess what, man?
It's 2024.
It's 2024. It is Supercross season. This is episode 36, season 2 of the Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast. And we're starting it off right. We have a special guest online with us. We have Rylan Munson, RM38, getting ready to start his Supercross season. So we're going to discuss what the season looks like. We're going to let Rylan pontificate on what he thinks Supercross is going to look like, and we're going to have a little fun. I guess we will be going from now until, I don't know, next fall again.
Yeah, pretty much. We got a long way to go. We got a whole season ahead. Lots of news, lots of things happening.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and let's kick this thing off.
What's going on, Rylan?
Hey, Rylan.
Nothing. Hey, I just wanted to point out you guys are on episode 36, so 2 more episodes. I got to be on that one. 38, that's got to be like the highlight episode.
Yeah, that'll be like 2 weeks into the season. We can get a little update how your training is going and what the first 2 rounds look like for what you're going to dive into.
Yeah, for sure. Heck yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Everything's going good though. Happy, good new year, and yeah, ready to get going.
Awesome.
So we've decided to race 450 this year instead of 250 East, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Shoot, I haven't even posted that or anything anywhere, so whoever's listening to this first will hear it first. But that is correct. Spent a couple days on the 450 and felt way better, more comfortable on that than I did on my 250. And yeah, decided to go ahead and make the jump.
Awesome. How is the feel of a bike that you can manipulate versus one that wants to go straight? How is that feeling? Are you getting more comfortable with that? And any big adjustments?
It's a lot of people would think, and it probably is for a lot of people, harder to ride Supercross on a 450. But for me, I'm such a 450 guy, and I have so much time, and I'm so confident on my bike that it was a big adjustment. I really struggled, on day one, but now it's way easier for me, and it's definitely my thing. I'm comfortable, and I feel really, really good.
Oh, people got to understand that you are also 6'2", skinny as a rail. Everybody has to look up to you when they talk. So 250s are, they're not much size difference, but motor-wise, height-wise, it's for your body build, 450 is a much more comfortable bike.
Yeah, shoot, like you said, I'm 6'4", and I ever since I got on Supercross on the 450, every day I ride, every time I ride, I just I'm like, man, I need to be stronger. Man, I need to be stronger. And I really don't think that'll ever end. I don't really think I'll ever be too strong. It's just so gnarly riding Supercross on a 450. The bike's just heavy, it's just a lot, but it's my thing. And I'm way more comfortable on it than the 250, like I said. So yeah, just trying to put on some muscle and put on some weight to be a little bit more, just, I guess, manhandle the bike a little bit more. But aside from that, I feel really good.
I've got a couple questions regarding that. One on the weight side. We have had the honor of having dinner with you and Josie. And how is the weight gaining going?
Well, shoot, ever since I started riding Supercross, I've been able to, I don't know, I think it's like forcing my body into putting on a little bit of muscle and weight, because it's just, you have to be strong to ride the bike. So it's like that being my workout or whatever for those days that I ride. If I complement that with the right food, which with my training program and my trainer and everything, I definitely do. It's, I'm starting to put on even more muscle than I already was with just my cross training in the gym and all of that. So it's going really well. Obviously, weight gain is a slow process to do it right. So I probably won't be much heavier by the time the season starts in a month. So or in a month for me. So, but it's coming around. It's getting there. I've always struggled to put on weight, so it's just a work in progress for me.
I feel like you and Cooper Webb. And I'll dive into my second. I feel like you and Cooper Webb just need to trade positions. He has trouble getting it off, and you have trouble putting it on. So
Well, Cooper Webb also doesn't have a problem throwing back beer, so
maybe that's a tactic you should start taking into. You know?
shoot, maybe I've never had beer before. Maybe it would put some weight on me.
Might work.
Yeah, we can bring some to Detroit to give you a shot at it. The second question on that, in all seriousness, for a guy that's in your position, like many other privateers, isn't it economically more viable, even if you don't race a 450? A lot of the privateer guys ride 450s for the economic side of it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, the big story of the summer last year was Ty Masterpool. You know, he was just couldn't be competitive on the 250 because of how much it costed, you know, to maintain it and everything. So it's definitely definitely a money saver. And it was like I was talking with my dad about it, and it's you can run a 450 for like double, if not triple, the time of a 250 with the same amount of maintenance if you just keep up on everything like I've always been taught to do and like I always have done. So yeah, it's definitely more cost prohibitive. You don't have to do the upgrades. I mean, to be honest, I raced all year last year on a bone stock 250F, and to be competitive, you got to have some sort of motor work. You got to have something. So
yeah,
I think I can be very competitive on a mostly stock 450 and go out there and just put all my effort and money into my suspension and be competitive. So
awesome. Well, as we move into the season, we start this weekend. You're going to be joining in Detroit. What are you looking forward to for this weekend? Are you looking for anything in particular that's going to give you kind of guidance as you move forward of where you might be? Are you looking at a particular rider? Hold on, we got a
cord that's messing up.
We have a technical difficulty. Ooh. All right. Sorry about that. Is there a particular rider, group of riders, track build technique? Are you looking towards anything that's kind of give you hope? Not hope. That's the wrong word. Kind of anything to look forward to as you get ready for February.
Yeah, absolutely. All of it. I mean, like I'm a big fan of racing, and so is Josie, my girlfriend. So we're just looking forward to watching some racing this weekend. But always in the back of my mind as we're just enjoying watching the racing, there's definitely things I'll be looking at. I'm really excited to see how Dirtworks is going to build the tracks this year because it seems to be a little bit different every year. The one thing that I'll keep in mind, is I think by the time round 4 comes around, they'll have kinks worked out on if they are changing anything on the track builds. Because, if it's sketchy round 1, they'll change it for round 2. Those guys are really good at what they do. So I'll look at the track builds for sure. And then, of course, I'll just be focusing on the guys. I mean, there's so much to always learn. And, I'm obviously not a 450 Supercross champion, so there's tons to learn. So I'll watch all the A group. I'll watch the B and C groups if they're on televised, just to kind of see, how everyone's looking, the competition and everything, and just be ready to go. I think the more knowledge you have and the more comfortable you can be with like knowing where you're at, it's just going to make me even that more comfortable coming into Detroit. So.
Now, do you pull out the laptop and look up live timing during qualifying just to see, or just watch race day live?
I'll watch race day live, and then sometimes I'll watch race day live along with the lap times. Okay. But most of the time, I'll just pull up race day live and watch that. The only thing is the race day live, I don't think it always gets the the 450C and B group in the second session. I think they cut it off after the A group sometimes.
Yeah.
So then I'll have to just watch the live timing there to see the B and C groups times, just because I'm curious. Obviously, I'm assuming I'll obviously start out in the C group, so I just kind of want to see, how many dudes are in it, just what everything's looking like, and just kind of go from there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a complete, as much as you've done this, it's a complete new thing for you this year.
Yeah, it's a complete new thing, but honestly, I'm more excited to go racing in Detroit than I probably have ever been excited for a race before. I've always been very, I don't know, just kind of like skeptical and nervous of my ability. But I'm telling you, me getting on this 450 has really been a game changer for me, and I feel super confident on it. And I'm just genuinely excited and ready to go race. And I wish it was Detroit this weekend. So
My wife does too, because it would be a little warmer.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. Derek, what are your plans for Supercross?
Sit and watch everything. We'll see how we stack up here. Obviously, we're part of the RM 382 team, so we're gonna see how we stack up against everybody. These cords are gonna drive me crazy.
All right, so where were we before?
Well, I was getting ready to say,
Oh, yeah.
Has anybody seen the Anaheim 1 track map?
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of the most busy tracks we've seen yet.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty pumped to see how they actually lay it out. Because if it comes out like the track map, it's going to be pretty gnarly.
What about the weather? Because California's getting some nasty coastal weather right now.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, they're not. I don't know where Anaheim is specifically on the map compared to the coast.
Yeah, because San Diego is the one that's been getting hammered, so I don't
Yeah.
know how far north it is.
I'm not a California
Yeah.
geographer by any means.
Rylan, you're from more out west. You know where Anaheim is compared to the coast?
I think it's pretty dang close to the coast. I'm pretty sure it's pretty dang close to up towards Los Angeles. But I did look at the weather the last time that I looked for Anaheim. It was looking fine.
Okay.
Like sunny, no issues there. Is from what I had saw. Now that obviously could have completely changed, but that's what I saw last.
That's quite a ways in from the coast. So yeah, you're right. It's right by the Los Angeles area. I know, like San Diego's down where they're getting hit. It's long ways from there. So,
Okay.
you got that. You got tsunamis going on in Japan. Like the world's a mess right now.
But we're gonna go Supercross racing.
Heck yeah.
So Rylan, what do you predictions? Not your predictions. What are you thinking? We got everybody back. I mean, the 450 class is as they say every year. It's stacked coming in. How do we feel about Tomac, Cooper Webb? Is Jet going to be as good in Supercross as he was outdoors? What are your predictions as a someone that rides and sees these guys ride?
Man, well, I had the privilege the other day. Actually, I showed up, or I was actually. It's kind of funny. I wasn't even gonna ride Supercross that day, and then I woke up and we were like, you know what, or the night before, we were like, you know what, feeling good. We're gonna do another day, a second day in a row. Went out to the track and showed up, and there was a red number 1 plate, and there were 2 KTMs there, and there was Sexton and Vial. And so spent the day, and they were super cool guys. I had met Sexton before, but actually got to they don't even care. We just got to do motos same time. They didn't even budge about us riding or nothing, so that was cool. But he is looking insanely good.
So he looks good on the KTM?
Oh, yeah. I think he's kind of getting a little bit – he's the reigning champion, and I think he's getting left out a little bit over Tomac versus Jet type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think that he's going to be the guy, and I think – or be a guy for sure. I don't think that there's going to be any domination. I don't think – that Jet's going to dominate at all. I don't think that anybody's going to dominate. I think it's going to be some really good racing all year long.
Yeah, I tell you, that training compound, is it Sandbox that's got, is it Roxon, Sexton, Vial? There's some good
Got all the HBI, the whole
Yeah,
HBI crews there.
there's some good guys training it. They're just pounding on one another on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm kind of
Well,
with you.
iron sharpens iron, so
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think, I think like Hayden going out and training with Tomac. I think there was a reason behind that. I think Hayden's super fast, and I think Tomac wanted to kind of have somebody to like chase a little bit. And I don't know what you're
yeah,
feeling.
absolutely. I totally agree, and that was really cool to see. Obviously, being a Colorado guy, I'm always the Tomac guy, and so a little bit of my bias is rooting for him this weekend. But if I had to make any predictions, if I had to make a prediction, I don't really know what I would predict because I don't know. I mean, it's just I have no idea.
I think we're about to see the most stacked 450 class Supercross season we've ever seen. I think we're probably in for some of the best racing that Supercross has ever had to offer. It's going to be cool to see it from our perspective, the way that we're seeing it. I'm glad that we're all coming in as a team, essentially, in the 2024 season, because I think this season's about to blow all the rest out of the water. I was watching this cool thing this week, though. Everybody comparing, like, the Tomac, Jet Lawrence and all them to the Ricky and Bubba days. Are they actually going that much faster than those guys were?
Yeah.
And I believe they are.
I think just technique. I think
Yeah,
bikes. I think
everything has changed
Yeah.
so much that if you could get them back on a bike at their original speed, I think Tomac, Jet, all them guys are faster than them because it doesn't look faster, but they are hauling. The season's going to be wild. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, I'm with Rylan D. I'm a big Tomac fan. I like Cooper Webb as a racer. One of the things the pundits always talk about is there's never over 4 or 5 winners per year. And my question is, are we going to get 6 winners this year, or are we still only going to have 4 or 5 winners with much more mix-up on the box?
I don't know.
That's a tough
Yeah,
one.
this is one of those years where it's like I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
We got
I could
people
see
moving
Webb
around.
winning.
Yeah.
Yep. Roxon could win.
Yeah, I could see Barsha. I could see Tomac. I could see Jet. I could see Chase. I could just see a lot of dudes winning. I think it's going to be really good. I do think that, I don't know, a part of me does think there might only be, 4 or 5 winners and then just a bunch of mix up on the box, though, because I do think that just because, like, a couple, all these guys are really, really fast, I do think that there's, the select few are on a little bit of a different level.
Mm-hmm.
But, everybody has their nights, and I just think it's going to be insanely good. If you guys were asking me my top 3 for this weekend, I really, really don't know yet. Like, I would have to wait until I at least see practice or something.
Qualifying is where I'm at. I got to see these guys ride because you can watch them ride in a practice perspective, out on a training day, and it's going to be totally different than Saturday.
It's Tuesday.
But yeah, and they all look fast. They're not all riding together.
So it's Tuesday. We haven't seen anything really. I don't think it's that far off that Jet finishes 4th this weekend.
No.
First race.
No.
I mean, I think Jet's amazing, but it's just there are guys that have like, I want to win the first race. There's nothing that says Barsha ain't going to come out and win the first race.
Let's not leave Hunter out because we haven't got to see him ride on a 450 too much. So like this could be a Rylan.
Yeah.
And the 450 was just meant to be. This
Jason Anderson.
There's so much up in the air right now, and we got all of the riders are back. We got Malcolm back. Malcolm could be on a whole nother level now. We don't know.
Okay, hold on. Let's stop for a second. Let's go. We've said this for a couple years, just in talking before we ever had the podcast. Okay, you have Jet, you have Hunter, you have Cooper, you have Eli, you have Jason, you have AC, you have Chase. There's not another. Is there another 450 KTM?
No, Aaron Plessinger.
Aaron Plessinger. You have Ken Roxon. You have Malcolm.
Christian Craig.
That's 11. That's 11. You could finish 11th in a Supercross and have a good night and our perception is because we're so spoiled. If all of those guys line up, you could finish 11th and just be the last factory guy.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
nuts.
Like,
I mean, Justin Cooper.
yeah, we got Justin.
Ferrandis.
Justin Cooper moved up.
Oh,
Ferrandis. I mean,
now you're at 13th.
we're top tier guys, and that's we were talking with Rylan here last week. We're like, the competition this year is stiff in the
Yeah.
450 class.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're gonna get injuries. We get injuries every year.
Oh, we forgot Barsha.
No, we said Barsha,
Oh, did we say Barsha?
but we're bringing
Oh,
in.
we've got. What about Prado?
Yeah, we got
he's-
Prado coming over.
yeah.
That
Doing
I'm
the first
anxious
three.
to see how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
Because that boy's fast.
Well, this is his test to see if
Yeah.
he's coming over here in 2025.
But I mean, he could blow us all out of the water and win
Win.
A1. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't know what's gonna happen here. It's about to get wild. And like I said, this has to be the best season.
So if you finish
Lineup.
20th Saturday night, that's not embarrassing. But the motocross fans, and Rylan, you know this, the motocross fans, if you finish 20th, you suck. But this year, if you finish 20th in the first couple races, congratulations, you made it in.
Yeah, you're by all means top 20 in the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, and my opinion on that has always been a little bit different being a racer because it's like if you qualify, you're legit. I don't care
That's
if
where
you
I'm at.
qualify and get dead last in an LCQ, you're a legit racer.
So this is that's always been my perspective on it. But you look at it from a fan standpoint, and they're like, yeah, those are the slow guys. Those
Yeah.
are not the slow guys.
No.
Yeah.
Those are the slower
They're
of
slow
the fastest
compared to
in the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Those
They
are
would come to your local track and smoke everybody.
yeah, absolutely dominate. It's so hard to get that mentality into your average fan
Yeah.
compared to the people like us that are in depth into this.
Well, that's why I never understood, though. You go to a NASCAR race, and a guy finishes 20th in the NASCAR race,
Yeah.
or top 25, and they're like, yeah, man, that was a good run from that team. That's, they don't really expect anything more. And it's like, okay, well, if I finish 20th, there's only 22 gates, but there were 40 guys that made the night show. There were 80 guys
Yeah.
that tried. Yeah, I'm not bad. Like, but you only see the top 20.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand is how many guys actually show up to try to get in.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, and that,
It's not just you guys that Rylan. You make a night show, and you forget about nobody sees the work. I'm glad they do Race Day Live now.
Yeah.
But still, a lot of people don't watch that, and they don't understand it. But they don't
Yep.
see the struggle that it took to even get to that point.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So nothing that we've just thrown out all those names. Congratulations for throwing yourself into the gauntlet this year.
Yeah.
I really look forward to those nights and that stress. That's going to be fun for us that are just fans watching.
shoot, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But you know what? At the end of the end of the season or whatever, and even right now, I know it was the best decision because if I would have stayed in the 250 class and I just don't feel comfortable on the bike, then it's like, what's the point in that? If I'm not able to even go as fast as I know I can, then
Yeah.
I feel like, I'd rather be on a 450 with a little bit less of a chance of qualifying than a 250 that I feel like uncomfortable even riding on the track on, so it's like, yeah, it's gnarly, but shoot, it's what we live for. And I want to just be in it, and I want to just do it. So
For sure. Hey, I do have a question on 450 versus 250. The 450 wants to go straight. And I know it's a lot more moving mass and all that kind of stuff. How does the 450 feel in the whoops compared to a 250?
way better.
I was curious about that.
because yeah, it's way better. I mean, day one, I was like, holy crap, like I feel like I can actually just go through them. I think you can commit without committing a little bit easier, if that makes any sense. Like a 250,
Mm-hmm.
you have to commit and you have to like actually fully commit and be hard on the gas. Whereas a 450, if you're a little bit lighter on the gas, you're going to be going faster already. So you're just committing a little bit more without even having to be hard on the throttle. And I felt immediately better through the whoops. So
Have you practiced your jumping technique through the whoops? Because that is something that, believe it or not, I mean, there's some good 450 riders that
Well, there's sometimes you have to do it.
once they break down, they just become jumpers.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think especially going to be starting off in the 450C group. They're going to be hammered by them. That's the one part of the track they don't touch up. They only touched up the whoops in like a few, like maybe 2 of the rounds last year.
Mm-hmm.
In qualifying, they touched up the whoops, but yeah. I mean, they seem to like always turn into jumpers, especially at the latter part of qualifying. And then, come Indianapolis, those will be jumpers by the time I hit the track in free practice. So
yeah,
because we know that dirt's like quicksand.
Yeah.
It just sinks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that because it's like a little bit of like a Play-Doh-esque type dirt.
Yeah, the Indy's always a fun track, but it breaks down pretty rough.
It does.
But we got 2 new brands coming into the mix this year too. You got Beta and Triumph making their debut.
Yeah.
So there's like I said, there's a whole lot going on this year.
And Colt Nichols is a good-looking man,
Yeah.
and he's going to make that Beta look pretty. I mean, it's actually a unique-looking bike as it is anyway. I think their color scheme's pretty cool. Triumph, I haven't broken down, and I'm not very good on it, but I hear their frame geometry is a little different, and the frame setup's a little different. So it's actually, and as someone said, if you pay attention, you can see what they stole from each brand, but their frame is a little different.
Mm-hmm. I think the frame's where they put most of their time.
Yeah.
But we got Jalik Swole and Evan Ferry.
That was
racing 250 East for them.
Was that a? I knew he was going to be their test rider. Rylan, is that something that when he announced that he was going to be one of their pro riders, did that kind of like what? Huh? You think he's ready for that?
I'm anxious to see Joey Savacci.
Yeah, but he's not racing until motocross.
I know. And it sucks because I want to see him race this thing Supercross because Joey's always been a good rider.
Yeah.
I always liked his style, his riding. But it's going to suck missing him for Supercross. But I'm anxious to see that bike. But anyway, back to your question.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Evan Ferry? I mean, to me, that was kind of a shock to see that he's going pro.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not doing futures?
No.
He is a Triumph 250 East rider.
Oh crap! Shoot, I thought he was doing 250 futures.
We all
yeah.
Yeah, and then they made their announcement this week?
Yeah,
with the team.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think that he kind of went off the radar for a while. I can honestly say that I don't really follow a lot of those guys that I race against or anything like that because I don't know. It's something that I just don't really follow.
Yeah.
But from what I had seen, because I did look at his stuff a little bit because he was obviously down here in Florida a lot. And he seemed to kind of have just gone off the radar for a while and then came back with this. But, he did do futures last year and he looked really good in what he did race. So I think he's ready for it. I mean, he's got his dad. He's got all the, the right people around him for sure to be competitive. So I think go for it. That's always been my thing. So.
Yeah. And we'll dig more into 250 East when the time comes because we're a little way. We got 4 rounds till we get there.
It was a heck of a commitment though. They sold their house. They moved to Georgia. I mean,
they're in it.
They're in. Like they really bought in. So I don't even know who's running 250 West, but I think just like last year, I think if we don't lose as many 450 riders, 450 is going to be the show. But 250
we got
is going to be fun.
250 West this year is much more stacked than East is because you got Max Volan, Levi Kitchen, RJ Hampshire, Shimoda, Nate Thrasher, Jordan Smith. I'm trying to think of all of them. I got some of them up here. Ryder D, going
March
over
Banks.
to Gas, Marchbanks.
Nicoletti.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the big riders that are going to be.
I understand Nicoletti on a 250 because he doesn't want to do all 17 rounds. He's point blank. But why is Marchbanks on a 250?
Julian Beaumare's coming.
So Swap Moto has the entry lists out, but I don't know that they're right because they don't have any of maybe it's just not updated yet, but I don't see any of the pro circuit guys on here. Like there's a lot of guys missing off the list, and there's only
Yeah, because Pro Circuit has a huge team this year.
Well, Pro Circuit, they will all show up
Yeah.
and do free practice, and then they may decide who they're going to put on the West that day.
So they've done it before.
Yeah, they
but
have.
I know for sure Max Volan and Levi Kitchen are running West.
Are they?
From what I understood.
Wait, they've done that before?
Oh, yeah.
They last year there was Anaheim won
Yeah.
in practice. They decided who was racing.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who. Maybe it was the year before.
Yeah, it was one of the years they literally did not announce. They
made a rider swap right there.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, well, on their entry list right here, there says there's only 30 dudes in the 250 West class, but there's a bunch of guys not signed up. Like, there's none of the, like I said, none of the PC guys, doesn't even look like there's any of the star guys. So there's just a bunch of people missing. So, yeah, West will be stacked. I was thinking, man, West is empty, but it will be stacked.
It will be. Like, a lot of the big guys, and that going back to, like, 250 East, there's good guys in 250 East. Got Tom Vial. Like Pierce Brown and them, Max Anstie. I can't wait to see him ride.
Didn't Deegan do it?
But
yeah.
Deegan is on East,
Yeah.
so it's I don't know. That to me, it's not near as stacked. I mean, you do have Jalik Swoll or Styles Robertson, Jalik Swoll, Evan Ferry. All of them are on East, but do they have the Deegan speed?
Yeah.
Where I think a lot of the Deegan speed is in West this year. So I don't know. I'm really really anxious to see. But for Star, I got Jordan Smith, Nate Thrasher, and Nick Romano
For West?
On the West?
for West. Yeah,
Dang, I'm surprised they put Romano on the West.
and maybe it's inaccurate. I don't
Yeah.
think anything's accurate till we till we see it on Saturday. But
Yeah.
Speaking of Star, did you see their team photo? It was like it took up an entire side of a jump. Like it was.
oh, is it the pile of them?
I was just laughing. I'm like, man, he must sell a lot of cars. I mean, he must sell a lot of cars. But hey, speaking of getting ready and coast, and you were going to do 250 East, but now you're doing 450, so you're getting to kind of pick and choose, and you're going to add some races, and we'll talk about that later. But as you wait for this 4-week cycle, what does your training do? When do you start kind of like protecting yourself or slimming down your riding? How does that work for you as a privateer guy getting ready?
Well, I'm very grateful that I'll have 2 bikes, so I won't have to slow like my riding down too much because I can be getting my race bike ready, while I'm still practicing on my practice bike. But for the training aspect of it, we will probably pull back. I don't know. I mean, I think we'll probably pull back like a week out. I have all my faith in my trainer, so I don't really even have to think about it.
Yeah.
We'll probably do actually. No, it'll probably be a two weeks out. We'll start to kind of dial it back a little bit and just make sure that I'm fully recovered and rested to come into Detroit. Being a privateer, the toughest part is you try to train, you try to ride and everything, and then you try to not get completely hosed by the drive there because it's like you can be completely rested and not even train, but then get smoked on the drive, and then it's like, you know what I mean? So yeah, we'll just make sure we're ready. I'm definitely in the best shape I've ever been in my life, so I'm excited to put that to work and just see how I feel in that racing environment because we all know it's completely different than practice. So
yeah, it's. I mean, there is nothing like a competitive gate drop, or a starting gun, or a green flag. Like it's just. The competition side of sport is like you can go to all the spring training baseball games you want to until you have opening day jitters. It's just there's nothing like it, and I think we see that in the NFL. You look at the first week of the NFL and you look at like where they are now and how smoothly teams are operating, and it's the same way for you guys, whether it's Rylan Munson or Jet Lawrence. The nerves are exactly the same.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how top tier you are.
Yeah.
They're still there. We got, not to change course at all,
That's okay.
but we got our local HBI team has suffered some some losses before A1 here.
It happens.
But well, talking about 250 West is what made me think of it because they lost Caden
Yeah.
Braswell and they brought on that Slade Varola.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see how he does because Futures he took 4th overall.
Okay.
Um, so there's another competitive guy coming into the
And they
the
lost.
250 West.
They lost Ty for the
Yeah,
start.
and I was going to bring that up. We
Yeah.
Ty Masterpole, who everybody has been watching, we've now lost him for the first at least A1.
Yeah.
Possibly A2 or what's next?
Oh yeah.
Seattle?
No.
No.
Seattle's later.
Yeah. It
One-
doesn't matter.
yeah.
I
One
think
of
it's
the
San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
So
I couldn't get
So-
that. I couldn't get that word out.
What happened to Ty Masterpool?
it's not the appendicitis. It's something else. It was a
Yeah, he had another injury.
Yeah.
The owner of HBI, Matt Bell, sent me the
press release.
the release, and I told him we would talk about it, but we were going to talk about it anyway because
Yeah.
that's big news.
Yeah, because so far that's the only one that's kind of the top 10 guys from last year. He's the only one that's kind of not ready. Of the guys, and
Yeah, and he's like everybody has their eye on Ty Masterpool.
and honestly for him, I believe making the main and finishing top 18 is pretty good. I mean, after all the names we've called out, for him to be 18th would be awesome.
Yeah, his ankle
Ankle.
was the issue.
So I don't know. I mean,
Ah,
I also, when the first time we ever had Matt on, and you can appreciate this as a privateer and building your own program. The first time we ever had Matt on, he was talking about they really wanted to expand and have a semi for more room for hospitality and riders to sit. And then when he was on another podcast a month ago or so, they talked about they were going to get a rig, but instead they now have an engine builder for each of their guys. So whatever their guy wants, because like some guys want more hits, some guys want less, some guys want. So they've taken that funding that was going to be for the rig and put it into engine builders. And it's unique because you kind of have to build the program the way you want it. And for you being a solo guy, you decided instead of riding a 250, you're going to ride a 450. So how else might you adjust your program this year? I feel like the bike change is pretty big, but is there any other small things that you're trying to make that to improve your program for this year?
yeah, just kind of. I think the biggest thing. I mean, I think things for my program that I'm trying to improve are things that aren't even like with the bike. Of course, I have a big change for me this year was suspension. We brought Power Band on, and that was a huge thanks to you guys for helping me out getting in contact with him. So I'm really excited about that, and that's huge to my program. But aside from that, honestly, it's the changes to my program and the fact of just going into the races with like less stress, just going in, just getting there, having a hotel, just being there, being present, just everything like that. That's the changes that I'm more focused on in my program because I know what I need to do to have my bikes ready. I know what I need to do to have my body ready. I know what I need to do and all of that aspect. So if I can just make sure that the weekend goes more smooth and is more comfortable, it's going to be great. I think one big change that I will have this year is, we'll have one of you guys at least at pretty much every single round. And then my buddy Matt, which you guys know, he'll be coming to a bunch of them as well. So a lot of the rounds last year, I ended up going to by myself, just me and Josie. So to have some help there for bike work or whatever it is, have someone come to the gate with me, so I'm not by myself there. Just things like that will be huge this year. So
I cannot wait. I've gotten my black pants. I'm getting my brand new Vans to wear. I've got my polo. I cannot wait to hold up a pit board sign that says breath. I am looking forward to that because that is the most famous sign in motocross is mechanics riding breath on instead of breathe on a pit board. So I just cannot wait to have that opportunity.
correct.
No, it's going to be an exciting season. Just the progress we've made together at this point is going to excel your season, I believe. We got a lot in the near future. I mean, we got some giveaways planned. We've got a lot of pit presence. a lot of stuff that just wasn't in your program before that I think is really going to be fun for the fan aspect of it, and just bring it all together.
Hey, best town we're going to this year, of the races you're choosing to do, maybe what's the coolest town that we're going to visit this year?
Oh, coolest town by far is Nashville.
Okay.
I love that place. It's so cool to ride. Like I can ride my dirt bike literally within walking distance of Broadway. I mean, that it was like when I rode my bike in that stadium last year, that was like just a dream for me because I've always liked that place. When I went to Loretta's, we went to Nashville, so
Awesome.
that's definitely the coolest town for sure. They're all really cool, and I enjoy the travel. Like I enjoy seeing the places, but Nashville for sure.
Awesome. Very good. So if you want a chance to see Rylan in a place that makes him big smile on his face, meet him at Nashville this year because
Oh yeah,
he's excited about
And
that.
Nashville, I think, is going to be a fun one. I'll be at that one, so we can have a good old pit party.
Um,
the other one that's really cool is Foxborough. Foxborough is an amazing. I don't even know about the city, but the stadium. The stadium's connected to like part of the stadium is a bunch of restaurants and hotels. Like it's massive. It's a really cool place as well. So
yeah, for some reason, my wife, which you all will get to meet at some point, she doesn't really like cold weather, but she chose that one. She
Mm-hmm.
chose to go to that one, and I'm like, that's like very top of the United States. She's like, I know. I'm like, okay, so you can meet myself and Michelle and Rylan and Josie at Massachusetts,
Yep.
and we'll have a get together, maybe inside somewhere we can meet. But hey, on a completely random note, are there any riders that you're looking forward to catching up with? I know you're competitors, but you guys also have this like brethren. Are there any riders that you are kind of like, dude, I can't wait to catch up with so and so?
um, not really.
Okay,
Uh,
I was just
I don't
curious.
really. Yeah, no, not for me. I mean, of course, like I'll have friends there and I'll have people that I'll say hi to and stuff. But I've got a really good um, like group of friends that I have here and just where I live, and that I hang out with, go road biking with, do things like that with. Not in racing anymore, actually, but of course, yes, there's some that I'll say hi to and people that I'll see, but like some of the guys are doing 250 West, so I don't know that I'll even get to see them.
Okay,
But yeah, for the most part, anybody that I would see, like pretty good friends with Logan Conger now, but I get to see him. He rides the WW, so I get to see him. So yeah, not really, not really. I'm not in the motocross scene like some of those guys are. I don't have a ton of friends like that. So
hey, I am a kind of a solo traveler as well, so I completely understand. That is a perfectly fine answer because you never know. I mean, I know there's some of the guys like they like to bro down or whatever it is and hang out and visit, but I didn't know if the privateer crew like they all hung out too.
well, I think they do, and like I said, I think they do because I think there's a lot of them that are friends and they do, but I just haven't. Like I guess I just have never. I'm not part of that group. But you know what? This is the beginning for me. This is only my second year pro doing Supercross, first year in the 450 class, and I think the more night shows I make and the more battling you start doing with people. I mean, the amount of friends I've made over the years from battling, as an amateur. I mean, it's all to come. All those friends and stuff will come. I think that's a big reason why I don't right now. Is because I'm still pretty new to the pro scene, so it'll all come. I do know a lot of people, like I said, and I have a ton of friends and people I'll talk to. Like I never feel alone at a race, so or like I don't know anybody. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to just going racing, being back, and seeing some people. So
Very cool. Yeah. By the way, you were talking about road biking, and I just want to throw out: be really careful because one of the GNCC guys got clipped the other day while out riding his road bike 5 minutes from his house.
That's what
He-
we're saying. Most accidents happen.
he's fine. He's okay. Bike is actually okay, but yeah, he got clipped, and because of his dirt bike skills, avoided the curb and crashing and like falling back into traffic. And
Mhm.
but yeah, so just be careful out there when you're riding up in St. Johns County, and be safe, because man, I saw that video or the video and the post, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, he's just trying to get healthier, and that happens.
That don't matter. Drivers down here are crazy. We don't even want to.
Oh man.
We don't even want to bring up the road rage, do we, Rylan?
Oh man, I forgot about that. But what I was going to bring up was the other day. I guess just a little bit of a story for your guys' listeners. I went on a group road bike ride. There was probably like 25 of us.
Wow.
And it was no like leisurely ride. These guys, they're older guys, but one of them's like #1 in the USA for some sort of racing. And those guys are insane, unreal. Like, I made it 2 hours in, and then I got dropped, and I just cruised home. And it was like unreal. It was so cool to just push a pace like that, push as hard as I could. But anyways, we were riding, and up here, there's a little stretch of our roads up here that have no bike lane, and there's signs that, when there is no bike lane, the road bikes can use the whole lane. Well, there's like 20 of us, so obviously we're not riding in single file, and we just took up the whole lane because it was only a short distance anyways. And a guy decided he was going to pass us instead of waiting like half a mile. Well, he goes to pass us, and then cars start coming. So I watched it with my eyes. He either could have gone to the right into the road bikes, head on with the car, or left in the ditch, and he chose the ditch. So it was a Tesla, and yeah, he crashed into the ditch. And then on the way back, there was, they had the road all blocked and the tow truck there to pull him out. It was a mess. I could not believe what I had just saw, but it was wild.
Oh, the nerve of some people.
That's
At
crazy.
least down here in Florida, we haven't got much rain, so that thing must not have caught on fire while it was sitting there in water.
That is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Well, I kept thinking to myself the whole ride after that, because I was at the beginning of the ride, that, and even your listeners, for people that don't road bikers get blamed for that stuff. When we did nothing wrong, the law literally says on the signs we can use the whole lane. All he needed to do was slow down for like a quarter of a mile, and it opened right back up to more lanes, and it could just go by. Yeah, that's a real bummer. I hate hearing that people get hit, because it can be totally avoided by people just paying attention a little bit. So
Yeah, I deal with it when I run, and I run in an area that one side has a sidewalk and one side doesn't, but I never run with traffic, so I always run against traffic. And there have been times that I have had to, like, not jump off the road, but they'll be jackasses that will literally hug the white line,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, dude, just all you have to do is give me like a foot and I'm good. But they'll just
Yeah.
hold the shoulder, and it's like, I don't really want to work on my lateral movement in running shoes.
Well, you got to understand, if you're not from Florida, the Florida driving, because it's much different from the rest of the United States.
Oh yeah.
People down here there's no patience.
Well, most of the people
Yep.
that are down here are people from other states.
Yeah, them northern people, I tell you what.
But
Yeah, my dad was just down here, and he thought the same thing, that our drivers are horrible down here. I was riding my road bike, and I pulled up to a stoplight, and a guy pulled up next to me, and he asked me why I didn't ride my road bike on the sidewalk. And I thought he was just being cool, like a nice guy or whatever. And I told him, I said, because the sidewalk's too rough with all the cracks in it. And he told me that wasn't a good enough answer. And then I was thinking to myself, I should have told him, like, why would I ride my bicycle on the sidewalk?
Yeah.
It's not even legal to
yeah, it's
ride.
actually illegal to do so.
Yeah, they make a road bike lane for a reason. I was in the road bike lane. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
At least they haven't
People
thrown
are-
coffee at you or orange juice or something.
Yeah. Yeah, well, shoot, like Derek said just a second ago, I was on the phone with him the other day and about got into a fight. It was not good. And we don't even need to go into that.
Hey, you got to protect yourself. You got to train. I'm not kidding when I say, like, my wife has contemplated carrying her concealed with her while she runs at times, because some of the people get stupid, and it's like, I mean, I don't necessarily want you to, but if you think you need to protect yourself with some of the yahoos when you're out running, I mean, I guess you got to do what you got to do. But
Yeah, 100%.
but it's crazy. Um, anything else on the training side, race side? I mean, the preseason stuff, like it's go time. I mean, it's kind of cool seeing all the Instagram videos of the semis heading out, heading west, and that it just gets your like, oh, you can feel it coming. And for you, that isn't starting for 4 or 5 weeks. Is there still an excitement of what you're about to see on Saturday night?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said at the beginning, I mean, I'm just a huge fan of the sport, no matter what, and I always will be. So yeah, I'm just excited to go racing. I'm excited to go racing, but I'm excited to watch them go racing. Is what I meant. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm ready for it. I'm excited that it's not going to be on at 11 o'clock either. That it's
Yeah,
going to be a good time.
that's going to be awesome.
It is interesting, but I think I agree with you all. But I also agree with Jason Thomas that daytime supercrosses just aren't as cool. Like they're not as cool.
Oh yeah, for the West Coast.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
For
because
the
like the
local.
fireworks and the
Yeah, so that's the biggest part. Like Daytona, I love it when it gets dark
yeah.
because it like sets the mood. Um, so yeah, it's gonna suck for them, but it's nice for us.
Oh, dude! Instead
But
of
it is still like it's still the evening time,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean-
and by the time the main events roll around, it'll be dark
And
out.
honestly, this time of the year, we're getting dark at 5:30 anyway.
Yeah.
So it'll be okay. But I was actually just
Yeah, because it should start by 5:30 their time,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just replying to Matt Bell here, the owner of HBI. We tried to get him on as well, and they're actually scurrying around for traveling, getting their parts ready for A1 so they can get out there. I just replied back to him. He's like, "Man, I wish I could be on, but we have got to get this stuff together." So everybody's in full bore right now.
yeah.
Um, I'm so excited. Like, I feel like Supercross was just here, and now we're here again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a short off season, but you know the funny thing is, if you only did the SMX, you were done. You had a good off season.
Yeah.
I know that some guys did Motocross the Nations and Paris and Australia, and that's. But if you really didn't do any of those off season races, there was a decent break this year. I know everybody talked about how drawn out the season was, but they've had a good 2.5, 3 months off. So by the
Yeah,
time
I mean-
shoot myself, I didn't even do outdoors, so I've had a long time off,
that's true, that is true.
ready to go racing.
But well, we're looking forward to it, and we may have you back on for episode 38 just to kind of see how, because that'll put you out what 3 weeks before it's time for you to go, and
That'll be, yeah,
yes, the 37
a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
A week.
we'll maybe have you back on. We'll have Derek work on our technology a little bit, and maybe at some point we'll figure out how to get you video, and we can have like your video pop up on it. So
Oh, we did the same thing with Ashley and Phil Harris, the
Yeah,
Shred MX Conditioning. We can get the FaceTime going, or
Yeah.
maybe we can just get you down here. We'll figure it out.
we'll figure out something.
Yeah.
But no, any closing comments from the rider? Because you know the two old men sitting at the desk, we just watch and go, oh wow. What about for you? Any final thoughts as we get ready?
No, nope. Just thank you guys for letting me come on and having me on. We announced the 450 and stuff, but definitely stay tuned to the Instagram and your guys' Instagram, my Instagram for more news coming into the season. That's really it for me. Just training, keeping my head down, and doing what I need to do to be ready. So,
Are you ready to do a sponsor list, or are you still working on some things?
still working on some things. So if that's cool to hold off on that,
Yep. You are the writer.
yeah, we'll hold off on that. Maybe that episode 38, I can bring that to you guys. I just want to be sure on some things before I go out loud or public with anything. So
You have every right to do so.
Mhm.
So,
awesome.
Derek, anything else on your end?
No, like I said, it's going to be probably one of the best seasons we've seen. Excited to be a part of it. We're actually in it this year, so we got a lot of things coming. Some really cool stuff we're going to do for everybody. We'll be bringing you guys some behind the scenes stuff that you don't get to see unless you're there. So I promised to bring some shots behind the gate so everybody can. I think the first time we ever talked to Rylan, that was my one question: is what is it like to look up at the crowd, sitting on the gate? And I want to bring that to everybody, give them a view of what it's like to see the crowd.
Yeah, and if you need any good bedtime reading, the AMA Supercross Motocross Rulebook is 91 pages long, which I have sitting on my living room
Yeah,
counter right now. So if you're bored, you can't sleep, crack that bad boy open,
yeah.
and that'll give you some good reading.
Well, we'll also show the parts that aren't so fun of what we got to do. So
Yeah.
it's not all fun and games.
No, because we don't want to get kicked out, and we don't want Rylan to get in trouble. So we're all trying to brush up on what we're allowed and not allowed to do.
Yep. And we spend a lot of hours on the phone, and like I said, we got a lot of things coming. So it's going to be an exciting year. Can't wait to see what HBI Racing can do this year. That local team, I really think they've got it well put together this year. We got a lot of riders moving. I'm anxious to see all these new changes.
Yeah.
It's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Can't wait to see what comes.
Well, everybody enjoy watching Supercross A1, and I'm actually going to be at Mondon Hill at Brooksville to watch the start of the second half of the FTR season. So I'm going to go up there Saturday and Sunday and watch one of the best hare scrambles in Florida, bar none. If you are free this weekend, go to Mondon Hill in Brooksville, pay your fee, and go race Mondon Hill. It's got technical stuff. It's got fast stuff. They even have something called the Daytona 500. It's a flat corner. It goes the wrong way, but they call it the Daytona 500. And so I'm gonna not only watch racing, I'm gonna go watch live racing this weekend. So I'm actually gonna leave here and go shoot the first podcast for the off-road side tonight and get that season started. So. It's time, man. It's time, and we're starting.
Yeah, it's here, and it came quick.
Yes,
so.
it did. But Rylan,
Yep.
thank you for being our guest, and give Josie our regards. And we will speak to you. I'm sure we'll speak to you before, but we'll probably get you on the line, episode 38, to honor your number. And well, what was your number? Because I think Mr. Deegan has taken your number.
Yep.
So
Don't worry, I'll get it back.
that's what I'm talking about.
That's the right attitude.
But
I'll get that 451 before he can.
but we look forward to the season and the growth and the stuff to talk about during that. And I'm guessing we're going to have some tired podcasts during that time period because we're going to be coming back home and getting on board a podcast.
Yeah, we got a lot of live stuff coming, and then not live, and post race, pre-race. It'll be exhausting, but it's gonna be good for the listeners.
So Derek, welcome to the new year. Rylan, welcome to the new year. Keep training. And for everybody, this was episode 36, season 2. I cannot believe it. Season 2 of the Beyond the Curve, the MX podcast. We'll talk to y'all next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.